Welcome back. All right, so we are in the middle of summer. Things have really slowed down, so I'm considering unleashing a power rankings. It may very well happen. It could happen today. Just throwing that out there, just a heads up. But either way, whether I do that power rankings and then go off to play a game of street hockey as soon as that goes live on the channel, we'll see. But I wanted to do a video of a type that I used to do back when the channel was in its early days, where I would basically do like introductory type stuff for newer subscribers. I haven't done a video like this in a while. So while some of these are questions I might get during live streams, not everybody watches live streams. And so since there's been a lot of growth on the channel over the last month and a half, I figure, you know what, let's do this. Sort of out of character, not being the hockey guy kind of thing. It's weird too because it's not like I'm not myself when I'm on the set and I'm doing videos for all you fine people on the internet, but there is a difference between how I talk on the set and videos, obviously, and how I would talk to somebody face to face in person. So I just wanted to give sort of a background, just sort of a fun list video for me to do while things are kind of slow and it's in the middle of summer. I've always talked about hockey. So 365 days a year, I would say going back to it'd be elementary school. It'd be elementary school. I'll say grade six. Grade six might be where I started. I'm just thinking back to who was in my class. Grade six. Grade six. I loved hockey, and I was kind of girl crazy at that point too. Not that I ever had a girlfriend, but that's a whole other discussion for a whole other time. Yeah, hockey 365 days a year, absolutely. I have always enjoyed hockey, and I've always found it fascinating. I used to get really like excited when trades would take place early in the season, and you'd see a team getting what they wanted for what another team wanted, and wonder who's going to win that trade. And I miss that with today's game, because today's game it's always about, so what's the cap hit? This team doesn't have the cap space. It's not the same. It's not the same environment as it used to be. But again, from then until now, talk about hockey 365 days a year. At the crappy jobs I had before I became a YouTuber, I would still talk hockey every day at work. I found it was a great time killer, that for a 2 hour period in between, say, break and lunch, I could stand next to somebody that I knew was a hockey fan and talk hockey with them for a full 2 hours. Was not a problem. It was a problem for my coworkers. Sometimes it was a problem for my supervisor. But now it's my job, so if I don't talk about hockey, I don't get paid. Just like back then, if I kept talking about hockey, I might have been out of a job and wouldn't get paid. Nobody ever threatened to fire me for it, but it was just more of a, he's talking hockey again. It's probably not going to end. Especially since there were two guys that I worked with at my last full time job that I knew I could work with them for a full 8 hours and I could just talk hockey with them all day. I absolutely could talk hockey with them all day, and it was a great way to pass the time. So the final bell would sound and we could go home, and I'd be like, today was a great day. While my coworkers are glaring at me, I was like, I had a great day. I know you guys didn't enjoy hearing me talk about hockey all day, but to me it felt like half an hour instead of 8 hours. So yeah, I've always done that. Now, getting a little bit into my past here, my dad's favorite team was Montreal. When Boston became one of my favorite teams, which was 1987. So every time people are like, "You need to stop cheering for the Bruins," I've been cheering for them since 1987. You can't just do that, because the funny thing is, some of the same people who say you can't be cheering for the Bruins are the same ones that'll say you're not loyal and you're jumping on the bandwagon. You guys got to make up your mind here. You got to make up your mind. My mom's favorite team is Ottawa. So while my dad and I had spirited discussions about my fandom of Boston, his usually was, that's an American team. Why are you cheering for an American team? My answer was, I've never been to Montreal. I don't have an attachment to Montreal emotionally. Who cares what country teams play in? Which, in all honesty, I still feel that way now. I don't necessarily care which country a team is from. I will base my fandom on various reasons, and where they are geographically really isn't going to play into it at all. But yeah, my mom's favorite team being Ottawa is part of the reason why I have a soft spot for the Sens, because when the Sens came back into the league back in 1992, and they had Alanis Morissette sing the anthem, and like one of my biggest crushes at the time was Alanis Morissette, and she killed it. She sang the anthem the way you're supposed to. The way you're supposed to sing the anthem is sing it with the notes that are written, sing it properly. Like, you can still be like a vocalist and you can be all loud and whatnot. But I think the right way to sing it is just sing it the way it's written. Why are you adding extra notes? Why are you making the last note of the song last 35 seconds? We don't need that. So yeah, Ottawa, I'm a big fan and have been for a long time, and hopefully my mother gets to see them win during her lifetime. So fingers crossed on that one. Lists. I was always making lists. Lists on everything. Everything. So if you're watching this and we've been friends at some point, you might have been on a list of my best friends, and I can't tell you whether you're at the top or not. I stopped listing my friends when I graduated high school because, like, after you get out of high school, it really doesn't matter anymore. So if you're in high school and you're like, oh, I'm not in the popular clique, yeah, as soon as high school's over, that crap's done. It doesn't matter, and all the social circles just they all fall apart. But yeah, making lists, I was always doing that. My most famous of those lists would have been way back when, so like 30 years ago. I would make a list of my 1,000 favorite songs of all time, and I would update it once a year. So what I do is during the year, as I'd hear new songs, be like, I really like that one, I'd make a note of it, and I'd make note of all these songs that they have to go into the next top 1,000. And it took a while. It would take me like a week to get the new top 1,000 done. I'd get it done and go, there we go, and I'd revisit it a year later. I do not do that any longer. I don't think I'll ever do that again. It takes a very long time. Um, I can't see myself having the time to do that. Not only that, but then my list of 1,000 favorite songs right now would be populated with a lot of songs people just don't know. So the last time I did a favorite songs list on the Entertainment Guy channel, there were a lot of songs people just didn't know because they're my favorite songs. I never said they were the best singles, just these are my favorite songs. My set is not in the basement. Actually, I jumped over number 4. That's fine. We'll talk about number 5 and then we'll go back to number 4. My set's not in the basement. I do see the comments about basement. The previous house to this one was kind of in a basement, so I guess. Although to me, a basement is still like in the old PMQs, which are private or personal military quarters. It's a Canadian, I think it's a Canadian term. I don't know if Americans, if they call them PMQs. But the old PMQs on the base in Chilliwack, that to me was a basement where you're like all down below ground and you just have that little window at the top, which isn't really illuminating much of anything. That to me is a basement. I've never had a set in something like that. That'd be awesome though, because those basements, I think acoustically would work because they got all the brick all the way around. I think acoustically they would have been great. But yeah, so the set is not in the basement because I do see those comments. Look at this guy in his basement. Not in the basement. Ground floor, sure. Basement, no. And when the channel started out, I was actually on the second floor in an apartment. So yeah, that was the highest that the channel's got, the second floor. And then, of course, I moved, and I was initially in a bedroom making videos, and then it became like a tiny little set where I actually couldn't move my arms because the jerseys were here and the board was here, and I actually could not move. I'd be like, okay, I'm going to start this, and I got to stand still and just very carefully turn because I got jerseys here. Plus, with the markers and having the jerseys right next to me, there were times where I get little markers, little marks on my jerseys. That really frustrated me when that would happen. I initially thought that Doctor Who would be what this channel was known for. The first videos that I was doing on here when I was, trying to attract others to my content and get subscribers was reviews of episodes of Doctor Who. I'm really glad that didn't pan out because Doctor Who is not a reliable source of income for anybody, I don't think. I know there's Who culture, which is like an offshoot of what culture, but it's an offshoot of what culture. I don't think Doctor Who videos would pay the bills on their own. So that's where it started out was I'm going to do reviews of Doctor Who every week. And while I enjoyed making those videos, and I still do on the Entertainment Guy when I review Doctor Who episodes, virtually nobody watches those. So I'm very glad that isn't where I kept going. That when I saw that hockey was gaining traction, that was where I went, and this channel became a hockey channel. I am a metalhead, so I mentioned about Zeppelin and Rammstein and all these. Yeah, I am on a kick right now with The Warning. So in October, and it's going to be a busy night in October for the NHL. I'm not going to be home for it. We're seeing The Warning, Hailstorm, and Evanescence the same night. That is like the greatest lineup of three bands that I think I've ever seen for a concert I'm going to. I'm very excited for this one. And The Warning, they're just very, very supremely talented. Uh, Great music. I've got their new album, Keep Me Fed. And yeah, I've listened to that album back to back about 4 times already, which is saying something because in this day and age, what's an album? It feels like that's really changed. But again, I've talked about that on the Entertainment Guy channel. I believe I've talked about The Warning on there as well. And when we go to concerts, I do reviews for them there. And then yesterday, I did a review of Deadpool and Wolverine because why not? Great movie. I've never said nor thought, so we're up to point 7 here. I've never said, never thought that I'm an expert. I make list videos. I do my best to make sure that the list is something that I agree with and something that I feel like I might be able to defend. But I have never said, nor have I ever thought, I am an expert when it comes to hockey. No, I am a fan when it comes to hockey. I will talk about hockey every day of the year. I have opinions on players and teams and on hockey's history and everything around the game. But I have never said that my opinion is better than someone else's opinion or like I just don't. I really believe that um, in this day and age, I think it's important just to have casual discussions and just to be like, you know what, I think the best defenseman in the NHL is insert name here, and the other guy can go, you know, that's a valid point. He's a good defenseman. I think it is, and then you insert your response, and then both people agree. All right, we have a difference of opinion. Cool. I wish the internet worked that way. I really do. The internet does not work that way. But that's always kind of how I do it when I'm doing list videos or like last night's redraft. It's like, yeah, this is how I would do this draft. It's only 4 years since the 2020 draft, so is this gonna age well? No. And I said that during the video. I'm like, yeah, no, it's early. I think 4 years is about as early as you can get. When I looked at other redrafts that people did for the 2020 draft last summer, none of them have aged well. So this idea that there's some opinion that's better than everybody else's is just I think it's crazy. The videos used to be longer. So when I started out making the hockey videos, I would just basically sit on my couch. I don't sit down anymore, but I used to sit on my couch and I would talk about hockey for like roughly half an hour. And I would cover every topic. And then comments showed up of you should split these up. And it was the smartest thing that ever happened. It was the best thing that ever happened was that I started splitting my videos up. So each topic got its own video, which is how you end up with a lot of videos on the channel. But it also helped me focus my material, and then the whiteboards came in after cue cards. The first thing I did was cue cards, and then I saw some other channel had started copying the cue cards, so I went to the whiteboard. Now I know there's other channels that then copied the whiteboard, but I'm gonna leave it at a whiteboard. I at one point thought about the black version of a whiteboard, the magnetic black version, but I don't think that would show up well on camera. I think it would drive the camera nuts. I think the whiteboard works much better. But yeah, the videos used to be longer, the content used to be completely different, and there used to be no whiteboard. There was a time. This may sound odd looking back now. There was a time where people were concerned that I had met Yvonne. I had been single. I'd been miserable for years. And then I met Yvonne, and there were people concerned that when I got a girlfriend and I was happy, I might stop making videos. I assured people right away that wouldn't happen, but there was some concern, and then there was a lot of, yeah, you need to keep your wife out of your videos. Well, girlfriend at the time, right? You need to keep your girlfriend. You can't have a girlfriend in videos. So that's something that Yvonne and I have kept in mind because obviously she is now my wife. We've been together for almost 8 years, and I don't like to see her get attacked on the internet. I don't like to see like really negative, ugly things being said, and that can happen. And I know that's part and parcel of the internet, but that's why you don't see her in videos more often than you do because it's me basically saying, you know what, I'll do these videos. She does a lot of work on the back end, which is social media, emails, things of that nature. The play on video that I did last week, she had a hand in that. And so, yeah, I love the woman so much, and she's been great for me. And I think she's been good for the channel as well. But I don't put her in videos for that reason that there's going to be that negativity, and I don't like to see some of that directed her way. like directed my way, it's gonna happen. I'm a YouTuber. I chose this. This is what I decided to do. She didn't. She's not a YouTuber. She has not made that same decision. So I feel like, if I'm getting the criticism and some of the ugly comments, okay. But if she's getting them, I don't feel like that's quite fair. Because she married a YouTuber. She didn't become a YouTuber. All right, so that's that. And then I wanted to be a DJ. So the question of, so how did he end up becoming the hockey guy? I wanted to be a DJ. I wanted to work on the radio. I was warned off of working on the radio. My mom was friends with the DJ for the local Chilliwack station, who basically took me out for lunch, and over lunch informed me, don't do it. The industry's dying. You're going to end up working in Fort St. John on a graveyard shift. You're going to make almost no money. The odds of you moving up are very slim, and it's a cutthroat industry. So, and I was basically told I was too nice, that I'm too nice of a guy. I was told that too at one point when I thought about maybe getting into politics. I was told, yeah, no, they'll eat you alive. Which, yeah, that's yes. Knowing what I know now that I didn't know then, yeah, no, that would have been a terrible decision on my part if I had tried to get into the political sphere or journalism too, because I did take journalism in high school. I took acting in high school as well. I've always had that sort of dramatic flair. Again, going back to like elementary school, in my French class, I was the lead actor in this one play that I did in grade three. Was that grade three? Grade four. It was actually grade four, I think. And yeah, that ended up being a night when I look back and I'm like, I've got that, because there was a girl that was supposed to hit me with confetti, and initially they had made like these little snowflakes. So I was gonna open a door and I was gonna say il neige, which is it's snowing, and I was supposed to get hit with these snowflakes. And what they did was they changed it out. So they actually got the 3-hole punch, the paper. Yeah, they filled a bucket with that and covered me from head to toe. That girl was so happy. All the parents laughed really, really hard, and I kept going. So that was kind of when I knew, what? I might be able to do this, because I didn't break. That's always and I've never broken when I did any acting in high school either. In fact, not only would I not break, but if somebody that I was in a scene with forgot their line, I could feed it to them because I knew the whole script. Which I was informed was annoying, because people who didn't know their lines didn't like that there was a guy standing next to them that knew the entire script. But I thought it was better for me to feed them the line quietly rather than the person off stage answering when the person next to me goes, line? I like, no, I don't, no, not in my performances. But yeah, so I feel like what I'm doing now, I was always geared towards, but I didn't have the money or the means to go to college coming out of high school. I was discouraged from going to college, to be honest, as well. And so I basically I would do like acting in my church. I did little dramatic things here and there too, related to my work, if there was Christmas parties and things of that nature. But what you're seeing now with me as a YouTuber, it just feels like it's all of the things on the board combined to bring me here to all you fine people on the internet. So it's been quite the journey over the last 8+ years. I am looking forward to another, 20, 30 years? I'm never going to stop making YouTube videos. As long as I'm able to do it, and as long as this platform's here, I will be making YouTube videos. Doesn't matter if I'm 80, I'm still going to be doing it. Because even though, yes, I'll retire at some level, I don't think I'll ever completely retire. I'm not a person that can just sit and, look outside and just relax. That's not me. It's not me. I can't. I have to be doing something. I have to be busy. And since I'm going to be talking about hockey anyways, I might as well talk to the camera, because I spent 15 years in a relationship with somebody who didn't really like hockey nearly as much as I did. And I talk about hockey 365 days a year. So I can see how that would be maddening. I kind of understand that at this point. But anyways, there you go. A little bit of a behind the scenes look and a top 10 list on top of that too. Just for all you fine people on the internet, for people who may be newer to the channel, and for people too that are getting into hockey and wondering about some of the stuff hockey related. Don't be shy about asking questions in the comments. I have a pretty good community that's been built on this channel, and people are usually pretty respectful to new fans and explaining things like offside and things of that nature. Plus, I have the Hockey 101 playlist on the channel, so I'll be going through and seeing what other topics I haven't covered in Hockey 101 that I can, and of course, be going on holiday in a couple weeks too. So it's busy for me during the summer, but it's different. So I do have a little bit more time, and today I'll be using some of that time to go and play street hockey as well. So there you go. Thank you guys so much for all your support. I wouldn't be able to be here doing this if you weren't out there watching the videos. So it's greatly appreciated. If you haven't already hit like and subscribe, feel free to do so. Thank you guys so much for all your support. And yeah, this was the first Bruins jersey I ever had was this one, and at least that I bought for myself. I had one before that too, but I always got compliments when I wore Bruins right up until about 2011. Something changed in the Vancouver area in 2011 where I no longer got compliments when I wore Boston gear. What happened? Huh. All right, maybe I'll make a video on that someday. Okay, thank you guys so much for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.